The United Nations have adopted the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. These 17 goals aim at fighting poverty, ending hunger, fighting climate change, and conserving biodiversity at the same time. Now, the implementation of these goals, this requires land for different purposes, including food, including energy, but also for biodiversity conservation. So the implementation of one SDG might actually have an impact on another SDG, and this can create conflicts, but also synergies. Since bioproductive land is not an unlimited resource, it's important that policymakers consider these complex trade-offs so they can create coherent land use policies. In Lanusyncon, we want to assess the impacts of decision-making on the conflicts and the synergies between Sustainable Development Goals. So we want to predict what the impact of a certain policy decision to achieve one SDG would be on another SDG. These assessments that tell policymakers something about the impacts of decision-making on sustainable development are increasingly being provided by so-called science policy interfaces, or SPIs. So these SPIs, they have the potential to contribute to coherent land use decision-making. However, it's unclear whether they are adequately designed or equipped with tools to consider these complex trade-offs between the different SDGs. So in Lanusyncon, we also want to understand the role of SPIs in the context of coherent land use decision-making and conflicts and synergies between SDGs. In Lanusyncon, we want to bridge the international and the local scale. So what we want to do is we want to look at the impacts of land use decisions and science policy interfaces on local land use conflicts. East Africa has experienced increasing land use pressures in the past, also due to increasing public and private investments along so-called rural development corridors. In Kenya and Tanzania, these corridors are the Lapset and the Second corridor. Now, because of these investments, there have been a lot of infrastructure that has been built and a lot of agricultural intensification taking place. Because of these different things going on in Eastern Africa, and especially in Kenya and Tanzania, these two countries are ideal case studies to study the impact of policy decisions on land use synergies and conflicts.